on, man.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on?
Internet. What's going
Hello,
on?
Internet.
We're back again, Internet.
We are back.
Just 10 times on the internet. In a minute.
Internet, we love you. You let us get our weird views and experiences out there so other people can see them and critique us.
I thought you were going to say fetishes for a second. I thought it was going to get real weird.
Oh, it's not that type of podcast. Not yet, at least.
Hopefully not. Yeah, right.
Never know how 2025 going to go. Though.
Well, we'll have to start charging now.
Yeah,
Get emails to be able to do that.
Pay us, or you won't get what you want.
Oh,
saying that, you know, that Disney Plus subscription might go up if we keep talking. So you never know. You know,
It already did.
Tell me about it. It's kind of crazy, but you know, it's great to be back with everyone here for another week of Urban Downer DS. Doing our typical skeleton crew review, man. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's like one of those things, you know, bittersweet. You know, I think it's been a while. I can say this based on, I don't even know, the last how many shows to like the positive, the energy in the show, right? The positivity, like it's just a whole different vibe, you know, when you get something that's like somebody took a risk, but they made it a good show, essentially. You know what I mean? It's fun, it's different, like it's not. There's not a ton of lore that we have to like fact check about and this and that. So you know what I mean? It's
Star Wars
fun.
fact check. That is hilarious.
It is, you know, there's a lot of fact checking we have to do and, you know, revisionism and stuff. So, no, it's been a fun show, but I can't wait to dive into this week's episode, another fun one. But before we dive into that, let's let you guys let us do some housekeeping and let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com, people, your favorite website where you will get all your favorite social media platforms. And we are at Nerdcyclopedia on Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, maybe like about 20 more days or something like that.
Huh? It's just going to be called now.
It's going to be called All right. Make sure that you listen to us on podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Odyssey, anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Guess what? We're there. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, thank you. Hit that subscribe button and also smash that notification button. So anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. If you are watching us on Facebook, thank you as well. Make sure that you follow us at Nerdcyclopedia right on our Facebook page, and also make sure that you're liking and sharing that as well. Leave us some feedback too. Love getting some feedback from you on Nerdcyclopedia feedback. Wait a minute, hold up. What we got going on?
I created this email address. I'm going to point out to you right now.
I know, right? Nerdcyclopedia feedback at gmail.com.
I found that if I type it once in the address bar, Google will remember, and as soon as I type nerd, the rest of it fills in. So don't be scared. You don't have to memorize this. Just type nerd. The rest of it will.
AI has you covered. AI has you covered.
And if there's anything we're sure of, it's that AI knows where to find all of us.
And they're watching our backs.
Okay, that's what they're doing. They're watching our backs. Okay,
watching our backs.
They're watching from our backs, right? From right behind us.
They're right behind us.
I'm just kidding. All AI is pretty.
Look at all those ominous stormtrooper heads right behind Kid.
Well, don't forget those guys are clones, not robots, so we're in the clear. Just wait.
We're completely safe.
We start putting obsolete gaming systems back here, though, we're in trouble.
No,
we're in trouble. My wallet.
But guys, where do we start? You know, it's like I said, another fun week. You know, another week to discuss a great story. You know, it's one of those things. Like I said, I'm almost like I don't even know where to go at this point. You know, it's just episode after episode. It's building. It's still progressing the story. So Who wants to really lead off with it? I mean, I really don't have an initial review necessarily. I mean, it's just like more of the same. I'm just happy that this show has been ran this way. If you want to nitpick, you can nitpick things, but I feel like it's not the time for that. I mean, overall, it's been a great experience for me. So
yeah, no nitpicking, no nitpicking.
Yeah, really nothing to do.
I was concerned at the runtime at first. I saw it was like 34 minutes. Here we got the mid-season right. So it starts right when episode 4 ends. Like they fell, and I had this immediate as soon as it started, I had this like Empire Strikes Back vibe, like Luke falling through the air shaft in Bespin, same kind of thing. Where are we going? And they all get dumped out at the same time. I think this episode was basically how they're going to get off this rock. Like it was just that was the mission. That was the only thing we had to get done. Was they had to get the band back on the ship and get off the rock, because we had been on the rock for 45 minutes. The episode 4.
Yeah.
So I was a little concerned, but I liked learning more about him and what that character has going on. There's some backstory there, like strategy, what happened to them that they're like Terminator. They're basically Terminator, and I didn't realize how extensive it was. Like,
right,
there are mechanisms and wires deep in its skull, so it's not just. This isn't just like a Lobot appliance or Geordi. I mean, this is connected to the cerebral portion of the the humanoid. So I dug all that. I liked it. There's emotion there, and there's regret, and there's like conflict, and the whole thing with Fern's like almost cold. Like as a leader, she's cold. She thinks everyone should just be able to do what she can do. And she says jump, and everyone says how high. And Neil kind of plants her a little bit and says, we want to, but we can't. You're gonna have to come and come and meet us halfway. Excellent. I'm getting more and more enamored with Jude Law's portrayal of this Man of 1,000 Faces, because every episode we are introduced to a new persona that this Jedi pirate ruffian barbarian jackass has taken on through his decades of in being in Star Wars. He's gone through. He's a philanthropist. He's a chauvinistic pig. Apparently, he's basically played all the roles that kind of someone wants to do in this playground. Like if you were going to be dropped in Star Wars, what would you want to do? Steel City. You want to be a pirate. You want to pillage. Mm-hmm. DP. You want to solve a mystery. You want to go on like a hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, you want to find the lost oracle, the thing that makes everything work. Like it's been lost, and you want to find it. So he's done it. This guy, Silvo, Dax, whatever she Prebot called him. I mean, there was a lot, and I think this episode worked only because of the director. Because if anyone else had done this, it would have been crap, and we'd all be having a different. We'd all be like, this was filler. This was junk. This was a lot of walking in the woods. We didn't do anything, But I think because Howard did this one, and it's same as when she did episodes of Mandalorian. There were like human stories that we got involved with, and that's what this episode did. It showed all our 4 heroes and how insecure they are, how secure they are, how they are failing, how they are succeeding. How they all got together. The whole thing with the ship, and I'll have to say, just the finale of this episode was just fire, absolute fire, literally fire. Don't hit the button. Oh, go ahead. Hit the fucking button. Who cares? What happens? It was great. Loved it. I watched this episode, I think 3 times as many times as I watched the other episodes. So I didn't, didn't hate it.
The episode was pretty good. If we're going to even go there for next week, I mean, this would be a minor nitpick out of these episodes. The way they cliffhang is probably my biggest beef. Like they just end on, like, it seemed like they just stop and then credits roll. Stop in the middle of the scene and then it's credits. It's not even exactly a cliffhanger, like a regular TV show or what have you. And like I said, we've been saying it's been playing like a movie and stuff. They complete their mission. They get off the planet and everything. They escape and all that stuff, which is fine and cool. But you just have them just flying off and then cut the credits and stuff. Usually when you're watching TV shows and movies, TV shows, in particular, you have like a moment with the crew, before you go to credits with some sort of definitive cliffhanger. Some of these Star Wars shows and even Marvel shows to a degree, just like cutting, just like that and leave you hanging for, okay, well, it seemed like it should have been more episode left, which is, I guess, a good testament to the fact that it's having you paying attention and having you really into what you're watching. So one of my biggest things with this episode, as far as really great points, was the relationship or the separating of the characters, and you had the relationship between KB and Wim. We get to see a little bit more Wim's personality, and especially KB and how she reacts, or how it reacts or what have you. And to see those two just interact and how deep, I guess, the intelligence feels about the way Fern, is towards her. We get the setup from them climbing up, Fern and Neil climbing up the thing, and then the payoff with Neil and Women and KB. I thought that was really, excellent, right? For the episode and everything. Just those relationships and furthering those through kids, for all things, was just a real big win for me as far as this episode. You see the money spent, you see the money on screen. If this budget has if this show has a lesser budget than other shows, they're spending the money wisely. Extremely.
Yeah.
I can't applaud it enough, because it has me pulled to the point where I'm just looking at scenes and I'm looking at camera movements. I'm saying, okay, this wouldn't be a normal camera movement on a TV show. You would see this in a movie. That's what makes it feel like a movie. But not TV shows have more static camera, movements and stuff when characters are talking. You got like a dolly going in and out on certain scenes, and it's just making the feel. It's just giving you that movie feel, which is consistent throughout the whole series. It just makes you, just keeps pulling you in. Very well done. I mean, I can't really say anything else.
Right.
Man, this is the treasure is the friends we made along the way episode, right? Which you kind of expect on a show like this for them to do something here. I thought splitting the teams up, the friend groups up, was very clever. I enjoyed Neil's tribulations trying to climb. He's like, "Man, I'm an elephant here. I've got stubby legs and no opposable thumbs. Like, what do you expect me to do on this ladder?" Fern didn't care. She was headstrong and figured out a way to make it work, which I think is part of her relationship with KB. And I think we saw it here in being demonstrated with Neil, where, Fern is willing to do whatever. Fern would be willing to do whatever to stay with KB. And I don't think KB would be in a position where she'd have 0 friends again. I just don't think that's really possible. And I like how Wim sort of called that out. He's like, "You can just be friends with us." Like, we don't care.
Man, that was probably one of the best lines in the show. You could just be friends with us, just as matter of factly.
I thought that was really, really great. And let's not sleep on trash crabs. I want to talk about these trash crabs. I thought this was a really smart feature. I thought the fact that they would talk was really funny, and I loved the way the king crab looked. I loved how it had that stop motion-y sort of animation-y look to it that looked a little bit like the like one of the monsters from Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean, like the Sarlacc, or because they all look like green screen stop motion animation for obvious reasons, because that's what they are. So I like how they've appropriated that and made it a style of animation, almost like how pixel art is a style of animation, like a retro video games is like a it's a whole it's a whole idiom, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think how they've appropriated that for Star Wars, and I think that also harkens back to the era of adventure stories that they're calling to, right? Goonies specifically. This has so much Goonies.
Right.
It's dripping with Goonies, right? You almost expect someone to have a bully blinder or something show up in the middle here, something like that. I thought that was all really well done. I thought the way that they kind of got control of the ship and kind of went through a trash compactor was weird. It's weird that there was a whole like a Rolls Royce ship hiding underneath this, very different fuselage.
Like it was shedding its skin or something.
Yeah, right, like a shell.
Like a crab, like a crab.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And what's interesting about crabs is in multiple places in the evolutionary tree, organisms have developed crab features. This is actually a thing where every crab you see isn't related to every other crab. They've shown up in different lines. So the idea is whenever there is a crab-like niche in an ecosystem, something will evolve into a crab. So the idea of an intelligent crab isn't too far out. As far as Jod, and these pirates, like they're screwed because they have a Jedi on board their ship that has a lightsaber handy. And that means that they're screwed. They won't be able to overcome Jod and his lightsaber if he decides to just take control of the whole situation, which he may as well do. And I think that's borne out by the fact that we've seen them, we saw 2 Jedi show up on a literal, Trade Federation military craft with dozens and dozens and hundreds of battle droids available, and they look at each other right away and say, "We're gonna die." That one dude's like, "We're gonna die if we don't stop this right now." So I think the Jedi is a lot more powerful than these pirates are really are really aware of. And that makes sense because why would they know what a Jedi is actually capable of if they even know that Jod is a Jedi, right? It's been 25 years since they've been anywhere. So I think that that's all being played very well. I love how Jod just shows up with all that gold all over him. Want to see the treasure room?
So you've said a couple of times Jod is a Jedi. Is he?
Well, he's
the worst Jedi in history. He's very un-Jedi.
You know how there's different denominations of Force worshippers, but Jedi is a catch-all term that you can use.
Right.
Let's say Jedi means someone that has taken the path and has followed the religion and is taken the oath and has had training correctly by a Jedi master who has reached that level after attaining Jedi Knight.
I just think that
what a Jedi is. Jod ain't no Jedi in the definition of the term of the word of the religion that we are familiar with.
Here's the thing: the Empire didn't give a shit if you were trained or not trained or a Sith. Or if you were sensitive, they were showing up and putting and doing the old Soviet Russian thing.
And that's them. That's them. They can do whatever they want. They're the Empire. They're the Galactic Empire, and they were running the galaxy for a long time, along with the Jedi. They were like a railroad track with parallel lines running the galaxy. You had the Jedi on one side, and you had the Empire on the other.
Right.
And then what happened was the track started to crumble a little bit, and it started to break away, and the ties broke away, and they came together and they didn't mix, they didn't match, and they didn't work, they didn't play nice together. So that caused the rebellion let's say.
Who knows what would have caused the schism between the Empire and the Jedi? We'll never know. That thing is lost to history and into the, palace coup that took place the morning of Order 66. We'll never know.
Yeah. But Jod, I think he may, like T. Mitch, you say it all the time. Oh, and how everyone has Force ability, and if you can move a rock with your mind, you're a Jedi. Well, you have the Force. No, I think maybe Jod can. Maybe he has some ability. Maybe he's attuned in some way, but he ain't no Jedi. I would be very surprised if they came out in this story. We saw this hit past history of him, and he was trained by a descendant of whoever, and maybe Yoda and him had conversations back at the in the chamber. I would be surprised.
So I mean, like he doesn't carry any personality characteristics.
I'm on the opposite side. I'm on Hitch's side. And the reason I say that is I say that he's not playing the Jedi because just think about this, right? Order 66 happened, right? And then obviously this is after this. But for the most part, these defected Jedis, I mean, outside of Luke, right, and these people, they are like in hiding. So he can't, like, you know what I mean? I think it's a facade because this whole like different fascia of pirate names, like this guy's pretending to be a pirate for all these years and he's not. He keeps giving people different names. I think he is a fully trained Jedi. The reason he doesn't have a lightsaber, it's more like Obi-Wan Kenobi. These guys are in hiding, right? They like have turned the Force, they've kind of turned their power level down. They're hiding what they truly are because think about it. I don't know if Jod knows. I mean, he probably does know about what happened to Palpatine, but these people don't know necessarily who's out there and who's hunting them, right? So if he puts his persona on and he's just like treasure-seeking pirate, maybe this is new life. Like, Ben Kenobi was no longer really a Jedi Knight. He was really a protector of Luke. So I think that he was a Jedi Knight at some point. I just think that it's kind of that. I think he's turned himself. I think he was pretty cool.
Where was the Empire looking for Jedi, and what were they doing? They were coming in and like hurting people and trying to get your leader up and make you come out and do something righteous. Like they weren't going into pirate dens and going through like the guys in the drunk tank and like making sure those ruffians don't have Force sensitivity and aren't noble-minded Jedi. Like they just weren't doing that. So it would be a great place to hide. I wonder because we have
about it. You don't think he beat all those guys up in the opening scene? That was like a dead giveaway. Like, bro, he could have Force pushed somebody away. That's how I know that he's like he's pretending to be a pirate. It's really not.
Well, who wants
or he's pretending to be a Jedi and he's really not?
No, because he wouldn't have been able to move those. He wouldn't have been able to move those keys if he wasn't a Jedi. Like, not even Sabine can do that, bro. We gave Sabine like 2-day Jedi powers.
String. String.
Fern even using right now on this screen. Right now, we are all using aliases. Right now, all four of us, and the stakes are so low; they could not be lower. That someone's going to find this and get us in trouble.
No one's going to find it.
Like no one's finding it. Like you know what I'm saying? We're still doing it, so it makes sense. Like if you're a pirate and you're committing piracy, and every single government that exists essentially to kill you. That's the whole point of making a government at all, right? So if you have that type of heat. Right, you would definitely be using fake names all over the place, and to that effect, there's a reason why no one knows who Edward Teach is. Right? You guys know who Edward Teach is? That's Blackbeard the pirate. So fake pirate names are a real thing, and I'm here for it. I'm here for the fake pirate names. It adds a dimension of slipperiness to this character that prevents you from really buying in on him. So the reason we're saying he's not a Jedi is because Jedi don't lie like that, right? Like think about it. Obi-Wan Kenobi is hiding from the galactic government and the most powerful Force user in living memory, and they have beings that have been alive for 1,000 years. So the most powerful Force user ever, and he literally just changes his name to Ben. That's how much of a deceiver he is. That's how good he is at trickery. He went out into the desert. And he's like, oh no, my name's Ben Kenobi. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, totally unrelated. Oh, okay, see you later. And like that's all he was able. That's all he was able to pull off. So we have a totally different sort of energy. And I bring up Kanan Jarrus because I think this guy, John Narad, whatever his real name is, whatever his deal is, he's going to know Kanan. He's going to be about the right age to be that guy to be right about the time of the trials.
They're
You
all
might even
about
know who
canon.
Grogu is. You might know Grogu. You might be like, hey, you're 60 years old and I'm 40. We were in the same class for a while before I aged out and you just didn't. Right. So he would be a good piece to have that's going to connect back into all of the rest of the Star Wars stories that are being told in this X years post the collapse of the Empire, right? The New Republic era. So I really just think Jude Law is doing a great job with this character. He's playing him like exactly as slippery as like you would imagine.
Super
like,
slippery, especially with this episode.
You can imagine the guy saying to these pirates like this deal's getting worse all the time. You know what I mean? Like you can just imagine all those things happening in this scenario. And I think that's great because there's always been that flavor of Star Wars that's this, seedy, black market, back of the envelope, smoky room nonsense. That's always been a part of Star Wars. And it's great to see that flavor being emphasized, especially on a show that's all about putting children in danger. So those are two things that I think two flavors that go well together.
Well, the good thing about what this show is doing is giving me that flavor, like that Star Wars flavor from like the first trilogy, parts 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, it's giving me that fun type of just that fun energy, whereas like a lot of other projects, I think they were taking themselves maybe a little too seriously. With like the canon, which is fine, because that's how you get into it. It's not a Mandalorian,
right.
It's not a Obi-Wan. It's definitely not a Andor, what have you, but it's going back to what the roots were, along with, like I said, the influences of like the Goonies and like the early '80s, movies and stuff. But it's a lot of this stuff is giving me that funness that I seen, especially with like the first movie and stuff. So I think that's a really nice element for, this type of storytelling.
It's been good so far. That's 6 is 6, right? That's 6 episodes that have been invested.
6 out of 6, yeah.
Going on with the show. Yeah, they could have probably released this as a movie, right? Like we don't, this could have been.
Hitch. That's everything I was seeing yesterday was saying, okay, this could have been a movie. And I actually read somewhere that they had pitched this as a movie, before they decided they were going to do a longer form TV show. I could see the elements of that. This definitely could have been a movie, but I could see like Kathleen Kennedy and them at the time saying, we're not going to waste money, putting this out, and how is it going to do in the theaters? It's not going to bring that. Yeah, it's not going to bring that, energy and stuff like what we want. We want Force Awakens. We want Last Jedi type stuff.
They could have released it as a movie on Disney Plus. They could have released it as a.
I think that would have been disrespectful for this. I think the best route would have been to put it as a TV show as it is right now. But if they had decided to put it as in the theaters, they definitely could have did it as a Christmas season or seasonal type thing, not a summer blockbuster.
But the thing about making a movie, a TV show, is that the first 6 episodes, you don't get the extra things you get with a TV show yet, because that's the runtime of the movie. So it takes a little bit of time for that to kick in. So it depends on what they do with it here. Now, hopefully this is getting enough viewers that they make another season of this, because unlike The Acolyte, this doesn't make me want to open my veins and go for a long sleep. This is entertaining, and I watch it again. I'll keep watching.
Wow.
Hey, don't forget, that was a story.
Nothing's that bad.
Some dude just knifed a kid's mom for no reason and then just abandoned her twin. Like, it's just that story's all right. Anyway, I really am enjoying this. I just hope they make more content like it, and I hope that it, leads into Andor, and I hope we get 2 distinct sort of branching types of Star Wars shows that go in different directions and have their own, fill in the interim pieces of the spectrum a little bit. Maybe some X-Wings, because we saw the X-Wings being heroes tonight. Hey, let's get some X-Wing fighter series going on there. You want to have the new Jedi Order training all these people. Maybe they utilize the resources because all the Jedi books and crap are on this AT-AT, and then Luke shows up randomly and just puts a kibosh on whatever's going on. It would be hilarious if Luke Skywalker shows up on every single one of these series and just puts a kibosh on the plan by being completely overpowered and just dominating and being like, that's not going to happen. and just like it starts over the next season. But there's a lot of different directions they could go with this, and honestly, every single one they've chosen so far has been a hit for me. And man, they could pay off a lot of the questions we have about like who the captain is, who is Jude Law, but they could also not pay those off and still tell a satisfying story, and that's how you know it's very likely that we're going to get a satisfying conclusion to this. Which, hey, it's
a satisfying conclusion as a season, or okay, maybe not a.
You know what? That's a good point. I mean, we talked about it. I'm at the point now. I'm satisfied regardless. Like if they close it off and just leave it as is, I'm fine. If they want to continue it, because in my mind, the way the show is shot and the way they're running it, it's I feel like it's going to end, but it's going to be so open as every episode's been that it leaves an interpretation for a season 2. Because if we think about how Stranger Things really came out, the guy didn't write it for 5 seasons. He didn't. Right. Mm-hmm. But based on popularity, what they started doing with these stories, they've stretched it, but they've left the ending open to where like it's not closed off and you have to retcon stuff to make it make sense, right? So I feel like with this story, they might be able to wrap it up. To be honest, I don't know how, because I figure we haven't seen the Owl Lady yet. They have to find a way back to get to Ad-Aden, or like this whole space race to get there. And then like there's still that little storyline of the parents, which if I'm nitpicky, I wish they just kind of cut it out, because there's still like a little bit of the parents we have to wrap up, and I don't really care about them. So
there's not enough time.
There's not enough time. That's yeah.
They're leaving it open like that, and I'm fine with it. But no, like I said, it's been fun. I just think they're leaving this open based on maybe feedback that, hey, we can do a season 2 based on reviews, which they've all been great from what I've seen. But I won't be upset if they just cut it off at this. And if anything, like we said, this is another branch timeline if we want to steal from the multiverse, right? I mean, this is another kind of timeline during this Mandalorian period that we don't have to do that story, right? We can branch off of that, but still within that timeline create great content. So, hey, I'm all for it. I'm happy that we're in this kind of post Quill kind of, whatever we're gonna call it.
I mean, it could be as simple as they get to Ad-Aden, find this treasury, the pirates divvy up all this unlimited take. They all think they've won, and they kind of fly off into some direction in the galaxy, and that's about it. I mean, that's how a pirate adventure kind of ends. Is you find the treasure, they pillage it, they take it. Unfortunately, I see some. This is where I think someone's going to die, because pirates
pirates need somebody to die.
Yeah, pirates just don't take stuff, and there's always shrapnel, like. And it's usually innocent. It's usually some innocent shrapnel, civilians. I mean, there's a lot of peaceful people on this planet at Aden that they've never seen a gun. They don't know that it's not part of their world. So they don't know what fighting is, or being attacked, or how to defend yourself. So I see this ship. I see the Onyx Cinder coming out of Lightspeed. I see all these other awful looking pirate ships appearing, and then there's going to be a fight. There's going to be a big fight. There's going to be like explosions, and there's going to be the people flying in directions and body parts, and one of our heroes is going to buy it. He's going to die, and it's going to be this thing. The pirates are going to take the treasure and then just fly off. Okay, so.
When we talk about one of the heroes, we mean like one of the kids are gonna die.
I feel that
we need a child to die. You're obsessed with his death sentence.
This guy's crazy.
It could be Jod, because
I think if anybody's gonna die, it's gonna be Jod. I feel like.
I think he's a character that we like him, and he might have lived has all these faces. I don't think he's invulnerable, and I think he's going to piss off enough tough people like this. This Wolfman, this Brutus, sure, child. I mean, could it be KB? I mean, KB. Could get hit with an EMP of some sort.
Jeez.
Don't do that to KB, man.
And I'm just but in a situation like it, they are going to be doing something very dangerous that no one else can do because of their particular structure and anatomy, and they're going to succeed. But it's kind of like you guys see the movie Apocalypse, Armageddon.
One?
Armageddon.
Oh, yeah.
No, the movie Armageddon.
Oh,
You see Armageddon? Bruce Willis doesn't die.
The great Michael Bay classic.
Yes.
It spawned Aerosmith's first #1 song.
Yeah, you might as well call it Rock and Roller Coaster, right? So you know, Bruce Willis, he's great. He's a great character. We love him. You know, he's strong. He's doing the right thing through the whole movie. He's got a family. He's doing things for his daughter. Well, he's the only one left, and he takes it upon himself to complete the mission, and he dies.
Well, at the most, I see maybe not somebody dying as Ken is obsessed with, but I maybe see like, you know, a separation with one of the kids where, you know, you got 3 of them, you know, where they accomplish whatever missions at the end, maybe getting home or whatever. One of them is left behind, or somebody's maybe left behind, not killed, but just left behind, where they feel like, okay, that's the setup for the second season. Maybe they need to go back for them or what have you.
Left behind, like what?
Well, that sets up a KB story, because KB can go without Owl Lady, and then, you know,
Like the end of
a child abandonment.
Okay, like are we leaving Sabine like somewhere? Like,
because I mean, the weird part is KB's the only person I think that can get them back to Ad-Atom, because SM-33 is with Jod. So, and he was the only one that had, you know, KB, obviously her mind downloaded something in there. So I think KB is the only person on that crew that can get them home. So I don't know if they're going to plug her in as like a kind of a computer or something, not. But I think KB is going to be somebody that makes it. But on that pirate ship, you're right. Somebody's going to die. I think they've already paid off the whole smoking gun. Is that somebody's going to get jettisoned out the airlock?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have shown that like that for something not to happen. So whether Jod kind of like double crosses somebody and opens the airlock and everybody kind of flows out, I just feel like that airlock, something's going to happen with the airlock, because they're foreshadowing.
You can't go wrong with a good airlock murder in a sci-fi movie. You cannot go wrong with that. There's a great special effects possibilities there. You've got like organic stuff that can happen, like faces, you know, exploding, eyes coming out. I mean, you got a lot of great stuff that can happen. If it's a droid or something like that, it can come apart in the vastness of space, sort of spinning off there. I mean, I love airlock murders.
Whatever you guys do, Disney, I have one request, and that's do not lay a finger on Pirate Steve Urkel. Leave him alone. Do not harm him. We need to bring Pirate Urkel into the future. In fact, he needs to survive.
No. I think he's one of the ones that goes down.
Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't tease me with Pirate Urkel and then
what's his name? Jamel White.
Jaleel White. Yeah. In fact, he if anything, Ken, he's going to join him in season 2. I can see
think? Did I do that? Are you gonna really?
Because he's loyal to a captain. Yeah, he's going to be loyal. So I think that Jod will become the new captain of the ship again, the new leader of that ship.
Hey, to Ken's point, I can see Mr. Wolf guy going through the airlock. So you know that was teased for a reason.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Man, maybe Urkel puts him in there. And wouldn't that be great if he said his line too? Like as the Wolfman is going out.
If they can get him to pay off that line, I mean that literally would be.
It would be.
By the way, Family Matters was a sitcom that aired on the TGIF block on ABC.
Right? Yeah.
Owned by Disney, meaning that we could very likely use all of the rights to the character. In
Anything we want to do.
They could take off his techno stuff and just put him in suspenders if they want, and just have him be on the crew as regular Steve Urkel.
Or he could be his suave self. What was the name of the character? Now and again,
On the Pirate.
Stefan, yeah, I remember Stefan.
He could like leave and come back and be all like, all like Jack Sparrow pirate,
Oh
The treasure from my girl Laura Winslow.
I mean, if Disney did that, if they allowed that, that would be awesome.
Bruce Lee.
Didn't he go out like kind of like Doctor Who? Like, didn't he get like a time box or some shit to do this whole stuff on?
He
thing?
had a porta potty that said there was like the Urkelizer. Like
Yeah.
Urkelizer
Oh my goodness.
or something, and he came out and he was suave so that he could get with Laura.
Yeah.
And she liked him. She liked Stefan. But it turns out
Right.
when you look into Steve Urkel's heart, in the center is his nerdy qualities. All those things are really what defines him, not anything else about his personality or person. And all the good things about his character, meaning his loyalty, his intelligence, they don't matter to Laura Winslow. She's obsessed with his annoying qualities. The stuff about him.
Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what it's all about?
I think it is.
Hey, hence why we're all here. So, Urkel birthed us,
Urkel birthed us.
That's what's that's what's at the center of my pop culture cringe. Steve Urkel, right in the middle.
Yeah. I think they need to pay off who's the supervisor, at least before the end of the season.
I would hope, but I just don't know where they fit this in, because in order to get the supervisor, we have to have a parent arc. And like I said, I don't know if I really.
Well, the parents are going to show back up. So
you could have that being the third piece that all happens at the same time. They're Hawkins, the ship comes in, the ship comes in.
Show up, and everything's already done. Everything's done. Like we're 3/4 of the way through, and we know. Well, we think we know where everything's going. We have all the players, and we understand the mission. We know what they're doing now, and it doesn't matter what the parents are doing. The parents are trying to help the kids. Well, the kids are coming back, like on their own. Parents have done nothing unless at the last minute it's shown to us that parents have actually been orchestrating this entire adventure that these kids have been on in order to get them back to At-Aten. The parents have weaved this and influenced all these steps that the kids have taken, and we think the kids are doing it. So the parents want to actually murder one of their own children.
So it will be a real parent trap, huh?
And
who's that? Martin Short? Martin Short then in Star Wars?
It's kind of like a reverse Menendez thing. So like we got the parents to kill one of the kids instead of the kids trying to kill the parents.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, so the parents are like, we have to figure this out. We have to help the kids. Well, they found a way to do it, and they're actually pulling the strings. They're Palpatining the whole adventure from At-Aten.
You see, I wanted you.
I think
piloting.
I was the whole time.
I think you're trying to give the parents too much credit on this show, to be honest. I mean, if anything, they're just trying to. I mean, they've kind of played off what they're trying to do. They're obviously trying to sneak to the supervisor watchtower, and they said it. They're trying to send a signal out, and I believe they're sending a signal to KB because she's semi-cyborgish or whatever. So they're trying to send a distress signal so she knows to find the planet, but the supervisor doesn't want them to send a distress signal out, because if they send that signal out, any pirate or anybody who has a jamming device can find the signal and thus find that Aten. So I think the parents are trying to like make the planet kind of become like out of the shadows. And I think the supervisor's job is to keep so I think you're right. The supervisor has a big stakes in this kind of Star Wars realm, because like, what is it? Who is it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, if I were a galactic emperor per se, and I would
a Palpatine,
still steady Palpatine.
And if I were
did
setting
you
up
return? How did you get back?
somehow? But if I were to set up my return somehow, one of the things, like if I had a desert island, like it was like brings these things to the desert island with you, the first thing I would pick is a friggin' mint, so that I have infinite money.
Right.
right? So that's something I would put in my escape hatch. You know what I mean? Just an infinite money glitch. Throw that in there. You know, so it could be much be possible that they're going to show this pirate's face and it's going to just be Palpatine, like zapping people.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, think about it though. Like, what happened after he was, jettisoned out of the ship? Because he fell through the reactor and the ship blew up. But I mean, they had to recover. Somebody had to recover his body in space. Who doesn't know that this body didn't float to like this whole region, right? And like,
it's insane to think of him survive. It's like, but here's the thing: him surviving that Death Star exploding when he's falling toward the core of the thing, and the thing explodes in like a thermonuclear reaction, right? There shouldn't be
that. Correct. He should be vaporized, right? We know that.
Very dead, even if by nothing else than that, right? Or just the burning up of all the pieces in the atmosphere.
Yeah. So I mean, and
it's just a cloak that's left. Maybe just the robe is left, and that's
the funny
enough.
part is,
the robe is really
so how did he cut? So how did he get back in the?
That's what makes the
Rise
trilogy.
We've been over this. It's somehow.
We've been over this. It's
Okay,
crap,
okay,
right? It's
okay,
somehow.
okay.
Right?
I hope that
Because you're right. It doesn't make sense.
I hope that's
if he's vaporized, you're right. I mean, we never discussed it ever really on the show, but if he was vaporized, like, there's no way to clone him. There's no way, like, to bring his essence back. Like, he would, it just doesn't make sense. His essence or spirit would literally have to travel to the nearest clone body. It's almost like the whole Agatha story, right? On how Billy and his brother was created. He had to die and then transfer his essence immediately to some other being at that point.
But aren't there already clones of Palpatine? I mean, hasn't he been doing this already since
There have been clone bodies, but you can't clone the essence of the person, his power level, to a clone that fast if he was vaporized.
So you don't think they took a little bit of his metachlorian count and implanted it into clones?
Not strong enough for him at the end of 9 to be that strong. If that was true, he would never be able to become that strong at the end of 9.
If we believe that Palpatine has told the truth to us when he revealed his master plan to Rey in Episode 9, he did have a son that should be alive somewhere doing something that we don't know about because Rey exists, right? Correct. So sometime during this time, right, the Palpatine's clone somehow escapes and has kids. So we know that there are Palpatine escape hatches everywhere. And it makes sense, again, because he's a Sith Lord that he would just have these escape hatches all over the place.
So are you saying Rey may have potential brothers and sisters that she doesn't know about?
Well, sure. Why would you make one clone? Like, think about it. You're trying to make multiple genetic lines and banks for yourself. There's 1 trillion planets or so in the galaxy that you're the number one head warlord of. I mean, Lord Voldemort had 7 Horcruxes, right? You would probably you wouldn't just make one.
That would be a perfect, and that's crazy to say that. That would be a perfect foil, I feel, for Episode 10, for her to discover she has a brother or sister, and like they hate each other, right? And that literally is the protagonist. I don't want them to do the redemption arc for the other person. They can kill them off, but to find out that there's like another one of you or a sister that, like, whatever. I think that would be the perfect foil.
Like a half sister or a half brother.
Right? Yeah, they can do that, but however they play it off, like to have another.
Why just one? Maybe like 2, 3, or 4. She got like a family.
Like every single planet that's not hooked into the Republic has like a king that's basically a Palpatine clone. Like every single one, like he just kept sending them out, like Vader sending out those probes trying to find Luke. They're just obsessively just trying to make sure that he's in charge of everything. So every time the Empire shows up, there's a Palpatine ready to go. It makes sense.
You're right, though. I mean, think about it. If they do that, then they can do a whole story. And we talked about more dark side stories. It can be like the Return of the Sith or something. Like, how cool would that be? That they're literally building up the Sith army because they're all Palpatine, and we know because she has Palpatine. So, like, literally, there's this whole like Sith army that could be his master plan, right? He knows something. So if he can multiply himself by creating more Sith, then he has his now army that he tried to create.
Boom! I think you got Episode 10 right there. Man,
and those Sith, Disney army doesn't want to take over. They don't want to be.
We appreciate it.
Publishing. I don't even want the publishing credits. If you can just put my name on there, I'd be cool with that. But like, you don't really have to just pay for my annual pass and maybe like You know, I'm easy to negotiate with. I'm fairly cheap. You know, annual pass and
Annual pass,
I've been
speed
telling
ticket, or speed pass. You know, in the park.
yeah, oh yeah, like yeah, unlimited lightning lanes, lightning lane premiere,
Lightning
whatever they
lanes.
call it now. Yeah, unlimited lightning lanes. I'm cheap. You know, you don't have to pay for that really. You just write that off. So just pay for my annual pass, and I'm happy with it.
I'm on the teacups all day today. I'm on the teacups today.
Whenever I want.
I'm on the People Mover. That's where you're gonna find me.
I thought that
People Mover.
Astro Orbiter and People Mover. Just keep going back and
People
forth.
Mover. And you know when you're tired, you need to doze off. You just walk over to oh, what is it? It's right next to the People Mover. Carousel Progress.
Oh, Carrot. That's
Come on,
it.
man.
I didn't feel like I was gonna fall asleep. That's interesting. I like watching
that's
the dog.
That's the ride. No, that's the ride everybody goes into when everyone gets tired.
Great in the 1950s. Now that we have operating refrigerators and operating water.
And look at Martha doing the laundry in 2 hours instead of 4.
Right, beautiful tomorrow. It's the 60s now, and we have electric guitars. You know,
It's you're talking about Rover the dog. Rover lives over 100 years.
Welcome to the
The dog is like 100 years old. It gets to the end. He's like, woof, woof.
The dog's like, please, I'm tired from this time vortex. Do something about it. You know what to do. You know what to do. Like, why is the dog talking so much? The 90s. That's the 90s. It's a great old. Release me from this. All right, sorry.
And no one takes the dog out ever. The dog just has to stop.
Looking at you trying to telepathically communicate.
Please, you in the front row, take me out for a walk. I'm going to die internally.
I'm trapped in this room. The room of the future. What's the room of the future have it in now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when I went there in the 90s, it was very specific.
So the last room has the VR. They have like an Oculus headset, and Grandma and the son Jimmy play it's like Galaga or like Space Invaders. And then they have a Alexa type system, and Dad cooks a turkey and explodes, and then you see smoke pouring out the oven because he says turn the oven to 5,000 degrees or something, and then But they're all wearing
the oven hears him say something about 5,000. The oven hears it, and the oven goes
makes its temperature. Yeah,
it's
crazy.
Should come in and be like, I've fallen victim to an AI Lotharia scam. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow. We're making all our savings and we're being foreclosed on by the bots. Drones come flying and anyway. But I think Palpatine, it could be Palpatine. You know, this could be how somehow Palpatine returns. It could also be a character we've met. It could just be saving to reveal who the supervisor is. But if you imagine if they go up to the supervisor's office and the supervisor starts talking like the sea captain from The Simpsons, you're gonna know that's the guy, right? Sorry, I don't know about this barrier. I think he needs to be getting back to the mine.
So do you think he accent like that, or do you think that's just a fabrication? Like that's just a ruse, or what if Jod is the supervisor? And wait, so he's been outcast for some reason. The our friends, the droids with the eyeballs, somehow got rid of him, cast him out because he was getting complacent. He was kind of getting lazy. So they kicked him out. He hooked up with these pirates, started to lie about his personality, lie about who he was, and blah blah blah. And all his whole thing was to add in and take his rightful place as the supervisor.
Or maybe he's the pirate in that image because they blinked the image out for a reason. And maybe maybe they scraped his mind, and maybe he really is that pirate. He doesn't remember. Maybe they literally, I don't know. You know, it's just weird that they blanked the face out. And there's a payoff.
Yeah, there's something there. In the supervisor, there's something there too. So we have these two things that need to be
paid off,
revealed. In my opinion, I don't care about the mint. I don't care about the money. I think money.
That's all that too. I don't care about the whole them trying to get the treasure. I just want this, the characters paid off. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because how many pirate treasure stories do you know that they don't even get to the treasure, right?
they never get to it, or they get to it. It's like, oh, like the Holy Grail. Well, it's the dirtiest little cup that you can think of. It's just nothing. It's a piece of rock. It's nothing. They're going to look at the treasure, and they're not even going to know what they're looking at.
I mean, John came out. He's like, "Did you guys see the treasure room?" And then they left. They didn't go down to check out.
Wouldn't pirates want to raid if he found gold? That's the weird part about it. Wouldn't they want to raid that room? And like, if I'm a pirate and they're talking about how tight credits are, because he says on the ship how broke everybody's are. Bro, our ship would have been loaded completely with everything in that, man. Everything in his
Up
like
to as much as we could fit.
Chamber.
I'll be talking like a pirate to disguise our voices, because they wouldn't, they go in a lineup, say "Avasti, matey," like, come on, would get picked out? Yar, tie him up and let's get out of here. We tripped the sergeant.
33 was the only one with the most convincing pirate accent, and he was a friggin' robot. Like, what's up with that? Programmed this droid, and you saw the other one, and we're looking for SM-33 to come back. He's not. He's in that trash heap. His head was in there with the trash crabs, and a rat came out of the eyeball. I mean, we saw him basically get sucked into the big incinerator thing. I mean, he's not coming back. Like he's not. I think he's gone. Pretty sure he's gone. I'm just saying. He was in that pile of trash.
Ken is like, kill them all.
Exactly. Ken wants a gory ending.
And mortality pirate story.
And this would lend this sort of thing with this treasure and the mint. It's like, and somebody else gets a hold of it. That's like our story that we were writing, where it's all Calrissian money. It's all Calrissian controlled, and they are the underlying fabricators of all of this, and it gets exposed. So maybe Lando is the pirate captain.
Maybe he's the supervisor.
Maybe he's killing kids. Who knows?
That would be smart. I mean, that would be a good payoff too. Who played young Lando? Was that Donald Glover? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised to see him.
Notice I have lots of money.
I mean, why not? Lando's already a pirate. I mean, he's swashbuckling. He's charismatic. He's a criminal. He already has all the great elements that you need for a pirate captain.
That's a great point.
Lando stumbled into the apple and just closed the door behind him.
Lando would be a good one. I mean, Hitch's outside story, Hondo. I mean, that's Disney's big character. They have to pay him off. They put Hondo in anything they can. So I won't be surprised if we get a Hondo cameo in something just because of the character.
Go to the supervisor and it's just Hondo.
Right.
Well, good, let's go.
But no, guys, it's been another fun week as well. We discussed the show again. We're 6 for 6, and it looks like we're down to the final 2. So
6 for 6.
The crazy thing is, like, I'm kind of excited. I don't have any expectation for these last 2 episodes or this next one, so it's nice going to this kind of just with an open mind to see what's happening, and I can't wait to discuss episode 7 this coming week. So thanks again for everybody tuning in. Until next week, guys. This is The Way.
The Way.